So guys, today we'll officially begin with our first class according to our syllabus. Okay, बकवास बहुत होगी, मुद्दे की बात करेंगे. Okay. The first unit of our syllabus is about origin of sociology. Okay. Our task would be to understand how did this discipline come into existence in this world. All of us know about chemistry, physics, maths, but when did sociology come into existence? This is our main question. Okay. To understand the origin of this subject, we need to understand social changes in Europe. Social changes in Europe, which is the first part of our first unit. Unit 1 is about origin of sociology, and Unit 1 Part A is about modernity and social changes in Europe. It's visible to you guys, right? Should I change the color? Yellow is fine, right? Okay. Okay. Now we can see 2-3 keywords here. One is modernity. Second is social changes. And of course in Europe, not in India. Okay, origin lies in Europe. It simply means that first we have to look into social changes in Europe. Okay, what were the kind of social changes that were happening in Europe? Only then we understand this thing called as modernity. Once we have understood modernity, this is 1, this is 2. Once we have understood modernity, then we easily understand how sociology come into existence. This is going to be the order. Okay. So let us begin with social changes in Europe. What do we explain in social changes in Europe? I mean, you guys might have heard about few things in your life like Renaissance, something like that, which sounds very boring initially when we are in class 9th or 10th. Okay, we skip that topic somehow. We mug it up. But Renaissance is a very important period in the history of Europe. Not just in history of Europe, it has been very important instrument which has been developed, which has been responsible for the origin of this subject. So what is Renaissance all about? What is the meaning of Renaissance? Revival? Rebirth? Reawakening. Nice. Beginning of a new era. Very nice. This actually sums it up. Beginning of a new era. Okay. So let us assume the meaning of Renaissance is beginning of new era. The question is, what is the old era? The old era is called as medieval era. Medieval era, which lasted till 1200 AD. And this starts from, although you know in social sciences there is no clear cut demarcation of watertight compartment एकदम कि यहीं से शुरू होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता, but just to give a rough idea, I would say 1300 to 1600 roughly. Okay. Beginning of new era. awakening. Don't worry about this word awakening. इसको भी हम simplify करेंगे. We'll simplify it. See, the issue was, yeah, please. I just hope कि students को वहां वापस ना move करना पड़े. Please sit. You can take this seat. Okay. You know, the issue is that during medieval era, everything in our life, music, painting, let everyone get settled first. Just try to be, you know, अच्छा नहीं लगता ऐसे बोलने में, just try to be punctual. Okay. क्या होता है ना, बीच बीच में जब आएंगे ना तो फिर सभी डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाएंगे, वो फ्लो टूट जाता है. ओके ओके. ड्यूरिंग medieval era, everything like painting, music, drama, what else can you think of? Literature, architecture, okay, science, okay. Although generally it is believed that there was no science before Renaissance, but let us assume कि you know scientific का क्या meaning रहा होगा. We'll check. Okay. Very nice. Laws, administration, state, politics, economy. Okay. These are the things which, huh?
Lack of radical ideas.
Lack of?
Radical ideas.
ना वो सब नहीं, अभी नहीं. We'll keep it very simple abhi. Okay. Everything in this world until 1300 was all about religion. It means painting reflected religious theme. I'll show you all those paintings. Painting was all about Jesus, angels, cupids. छोटे छोटे होते हैं ना cupids, वो एरो मारने वाले. Okay. Gods and goddesses. So painting reflected religious theme. Music was all about devotion. Devotional music जिसे आज हम कहते हैं. You know, today we listen to devotional music in the morning, and not everyone necessarily listens to it. But once it is done, then throughout the day we keep listening to Badshah and all, Lucky Ali, KK, etc. Okay. But there was a point of time when 24 hours people used to listen this kind of music, devotional music, because in those times nobody wanted to become IAS, IPS, engineer, doctors. These things were not there. तो करने को तो कुछ था ही नहीं. तो बस they were fully devoted to God in form of music. Literature also reflected the same thing. What was the form of literature during those times? Did we have William Shakespeare? No. We had Bible. That was the literature. So everyone used to read Bible. Just like you would read any textbook today on economy or polity, Lakshmikant. So Lakshmikant, you know, that was the Bible. Okay. Drama, street play, all those reflected, you know, what were the kind of drama? Drama also reflected verses of Bible, chapters from Bible. So those chapters were depicted through drama, street play, जैसे हमारे colleges में होता है. In our college, especially in humanity वाला college जो होता है, humanity word कहाँ से है वो भी बताऊंगा मैं. It is very common occurrence to see drama depicting corruption in the administration and how poor people are not delivered the kind of services they really need, and how those services are appropriated by intermediary class, यानी कि जो बीच में bureaucrat आते हैं वो ले लेते हैं. Government release 100 rupees At the end of the day, only 10 paisa or 1 rupee is reaching to the poor and 99 rupees pilferated. कुछ ऐसा something ऐसा हो. But in those times, drama reflected only religious theme, nothing else. Okay. Literature, all religious. Architecture. Have you ever wondered what is that point, that pinpointed pillar is all about right at the center of the dome? If a dome is like this, okay. At the top of dome, you see a pillar, very sharp edged pointed pillar. What is it pointing to? It is pointing to the creator of universe. And it is believed that if you have entered into the sanctum sanctorium, or the main site of the worship, you are very close to God. So architecture also, we did not have Antila like Ambani ka aisa architecture, modern architecture we did not have in those times. Okay, we had dome and columns, all those things, and all those dome and column also reflected wall paintings from the Bible. Wall paintings reflected the verses and chapters of Bible. Just like you might have seen some cave paintings like Ajanta Ellora. What do they reflect? Have you guys read Art and Culture? थोड़ा बहुत? हाँ, daily activities जो भी थी वो भी करते थे, उसकी भी बात करते थे. But largely they reflected Buddhism, Hinduism, the theme of Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism. Jainism तो नहीं, चलो ठीक है, उसका भी है, चलो anyhow. So architecture, literature, drama, music, painting, laws. What were the kind of laws? Law, just to give you one example, today you can earn as much as you want if you have talent. Okay, you can earn billions also. There was a point of time when there was restriction on earning. You could not have earned more than certain amount. Who would decide this certain amount? Law. Which law? Vatican law. Vatican law means law of the church. As I told you, everything revolved around religion. And who were the guardian of religion? Church. The guardian of constitution is Supreme Court. In those times, we did not have constitution, we had religious laws. The guardian of religion law was church. Church used to tell us that profit is sin. If you are earning more than what is required, you are committing sin. Do not earn it. Give it to the poor people. So that means, laws were also very religious in nature, just to give you one example. Okay. Science, let us forget this for the time being. When everything revolved around religion, there is no scope for science. Okay, although church used to explain the universe as well, how universe works. Astrology. Don't call it astrology. बिल्कुल, very nice. वो बात भी है. But just to explain the universe, the working of universe, what do they have to say on working of universe? Church used to say that at the center of universe, we had Earth. Earth was at the center of universe. It is known fact, it is sun which is at the center of universe. And they also used to explain that planets revolved around Earth, including sun, in a circular fashion. Circular. But we know orbits are elliptical. I'll show you all these images which I'm talking about. But first of all, before showing you those images, I want to establish certain theme in your head. Okay, before going on to explain the same thing in form of images, ताकि आसान हो जाए आपके लिए समझना जो मैं अभी तक बोल रहा था. So science was all about working of universe. Okay. So largely, what did we learn from medieval era? We learned medieval era was all about religious theme. But one fine day, Renaissance happened. Where did Renaissance happen? Where exactly in Europe? Italy. Okay. We'll also discuss why it happened only in Italy, but abhi nahi. ये सब बाद में. Okay. Renaissance happened in Italy. And of course, when I'm saying it is beginning of new era, that means all these things would no longer be existing anymore, since it is a new era. So this old era is gone. That means now you would not see Jesus in painting, angels in painting, right? Right? But we still have painting. Painting still exists, but no longer about God, goddesses. What is it about? Human beings. Human beings. Remember this. Which human being? I'll explain all those things, but first we will establish certain basic minimum requirement of knowledge that we should have to understand this topic. This is religious theme. This is completely human theme. Remember this. Okay. Music. Music was no longer about devotion to God. It's about love between man and woman. आजकल के गाने यही होते हैं ना, प्यार वाले. ओके. ज्यादातर वही होते हैं. गॉड वाले कहाँ होते हैं? Out of 100 songs, hardly 3 or 4 songs which are Sufi music or some devotional music may get popular, like Kun Faya Kun, something like this. But how many times do we listen to those songs? Okay. Largely music was all about, and music reflected relation between humans. वो जैसा भी relation हो, but it was all about human. Love, sadness, divorce, everyday life of human was reflected through music. Drama. The most important personality comes in the form of William Shakespeare. Why William Shakespeare is so popular? Why? See, William Shakespeare, Leonardo da Vinci, you might have heard these names a lot, many times. Okay. But what is so peculiar about these people is that one, all of them are contemporary, almost contemporary, they belong to same generation. Secondly, all of them were the first ones, one of the first ones to start their work based on human theme. One of the painting which is very popular, Mona Lisa, was made by Da Vinci. Why it is so popular? I'll explain this once I show you the images, but just remember, we have now ushered in the era of humanism, what we call as everything revolves around human. Literature about human, music about human, drama about human. Then literature, architecture, science, laws. All these things existed even before Renaissance, but the form of existence has completely changed. Basically, what I just explained to you was nothing but social change. Social change. I told you the theme of first A would be modernity and social changes in Europe. This is one of the social change which is happening in Europe. From 1300 till 1600, it is going on for 300 years. Now let me show you certain images and I'll ask you few questions based on those images. Okay, you will have to tell me what do you see in those images. So this, just to quickly make you go through once the same topic again, with the ushering in of Renaissance period, confidence in the church had been shattered. People began to focus on individuals rather than religion. Same thing which I just explained to you. Okay. Society is becoming more secular. This word is very important. The root of this word is in Renaissance. Generally, we read it with enlightenment. But remember, the root of this word lies in secular. What is the meaning of secular? Non-religious or anti-religious?
Non-religious.
Non-religious. Right? Just to give you one small fact.
Non-religious or respect of God religion? Non-religious or respect of God religion?
No. That is Indian secularism. Respect of all religions. Sarva dharma sambhav. That is Indian secularism. Okay. The true meaning of secularism was no relation with religion. Simple. Whose relation? State would have no relation with religion. Now, society is becoming more secular means whether you talk about literature, music, drama, painting, everything reflected human physiology, human fiction, human music, but had no relation with God. Okay. Does not mean that these paintings were against God, literature was against God. Some bit of element was still there. Okay. So complete rejection was not there, but yes, more importance was now being given to humans. Okay, individuals. Now next, let us see. Renaissance was an intellectual movement that focused on rebirth of classical Roman and Greek art, architecture and literature. What is the meaning of these two words here, Roman and Greek art? Generally it is believed that focus on human is something that was original to Roman and Greek literature. The idea of democracy is actually coming from Greece. Okay. Athenian democracy we talk about. Dialogue, republic, Plato का. उस पे अभी हम नहीं जाएंगे. These things are not relevant to us, but we should know about the origin of something, okay, that we are going to read. So Plato, Aristotle, these are those people who were more interested in dialogue, conversation, questioning authority. Eureka movement, something struck upon the mind of that individual which was very different from what was existing there. Okay, so it was more about individuals. So that is why Roman and Greek is written here. Next, Renaissance was based around humanism, something which I just explained to you. Okay, what is humanism? A thought system that places prime importance on individual instead of divine being. Clear? It stresses the goodness of human beings and encourages people to seek rational ways to understand and solve problems within the world. Just to give you brief introduction, this was about humanism. Okay. I'm more interested in certain images which I want to show you. Now comes the main thing. This image belongs to medieval era. This is a painting. This painting belongs to Renaissance era. Can you spot differences between these two paintings? Acha, which of these paintings do you think is three-dimensional? Yeah, it has depth. This painting has got certain depth to it. This painting looks two-dimensional, flat. And you know, if you look into the faces of these people, they don't look human. They look like human. Okay, they don't look human at all. Mona Lisa looks completely human. As we don't look like this, na? I mean, these are not completely, bland expressions, no emotion at all. She's smiling the way human smiles. Something that human is known for, smile, expression, all those things. Okay. And look at the background of Mona Lisa. You see natural beauty, although it is not very clear here. But in the original painting, it is very clear. It is about nature. Here, what is in the background? Some abstract heavenly images, God, goddesses, pata nahi kaun dekh raha hai upar se, Cupid, angels, nonsense. This is not real. Therefore, this was the beginning of realism. A concept that we talk about, realism. That means more close to human. Focus on individual. Okay, getting my point. So paintings and sculptures were more realistic and focused on emotion. New techniques were used to bring art to life. Okay. Renaissance art focuses on individuals and worldly matters. Worldly matter simply here, it simply means nature, human expression. These are not worldly matters. These are otherworldly matters. Okay. Everything clear till here? Michelangelo, not interested in his birth and all those things. Okay. Michelangelo is one person who is known for creation of this masterpiece called as David. I don't know how many of you have seen this statue. कोई बात नहीं. Okay. I could not show you the full image because he is completely naked. ठीक है, वो सेंसर लग जाता है वहाँ पे YouTube पे. So, what is the importance of this sculpture, by the way? One of the first sculpture to depict the real human as it is. What I want to focus more is on that everything was about human now, nothing, no relation with God. It was about realism, it was about humanism and problems related to human. Okay. This painting is showing that, there might have been some fight between two individuals. So it is reflecting everyday life of people. We fight, we cry, we love. So just about, another aspect of being human. Okay. Leonardo da Vinci, painter, sculptor, architect, engineer, true Renaissance man, a man of many talents. The same person who is famous for the painting Mona Lisa. Okay. Now, this is also something that we have discussed. Anatomy. Yes, this is also very important. Leonardo da Vinci is also very popular for one more thing other than Mona Lisa. He is famous for human anatomy. Human anatomy means representation of bodily parts of human being. ये आपको दिख रही है, टांग दिख रही है उसकी, ठीक है, internal body organs हैं. So basically he was interested in dissecting human body. Dissecting means cutting. Okay. That means he is interested in how this human body is made. Something that we today take for granted. Oh, यार ये तो doctors करते ही हैं. But there was a point of time when doctor did not used to exist, and there was no individual who would do anatomy or post-mortem, something like this, dissect human body. Okay, but it was our interest to see how this body is made. Until now, we focused only on the creator of this body, God. But now we are focusing on creation itself. Okay. And also, Leonardo da Vinci also developed many prototypes for inventions. The inventions which we today take for granted, helicopter, the first prototype was made by Da Vinci. Why it is important here? Because helicopter, making a prototype of helicopter means concern about humans. If we have to travel from one place to another, so it's not about God, okay, pleasing God. It's about to make human life more better, okay, easier, more comfortable, and therefore something of this kind of invention was conceptualized by Da Vinci in his mind. There can be something which can transport us from one place to another place without us having to transverse through road. Okay, कुछ तो होगा जो हवा से ही हमें ले जाएगा. He is trying to make our life more convenient. Okay, our life more convenient. So these are some prototypes that he made. Okay. How did literature change and spread in the Renaissance? Before the Renaissance, books were copied by hand. Who made the books? Monks. What was the book? Bible and all verses. It was the work of monks and mainly copied the Bible. This took 20 years. Copying Bible would take 20 years. Today, it would take you 1 second. Okay. Scan के कितने सारे वो आते हैं, सॉफ्टवेयर, एप्स. ओके. Johannes Gutenberg forever changed printing in 1455, which greatly sped up the process of printing. Gutenberg is one of the men who invented the printing press. Okay. And it was only because of printing press that anyone now could read Bible. See, what is the social function of printing press? It has made the text more easily available or accessible to the masses at very low price. There was a point of time when Gita, Quran were very costly and very limited copies we had 400 years back, 500 years back. Who possessed those copies? Priestly class. Pandits in Hinduism, they possessed original copy. They never wanted the masses to read this. But with printing press, you can buy the same Gita for 10 rupees at railway station. And now you can yourself read and find out whether whatever they are saying for so many years is really valid or not, or it is their own interpretation. For example, for a very long time, it was believed that Hindu system is based on Varna structure. Okay, there are 4 type of groups: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and untouchables, which are the 5th one. Okay, Shudra and untouchable are not one and the same. Please remember this. Okay, but this was interpretation of priestly class. One day, Raja Ram Mohan Roy got the copy of Gita, Purans, Manusmriti. He read it all by himself and then he found out, no, ऐसा तो कुछ भी नहीं लिखा. Then comes Indian Renaissance, social reform. Okay, उस पे हम बाद में चलेंगे, अभी ज़्यादा नहीं. So basically this printing press allowed for the mass production of Bible, which greatly encouraged spread of Christianity. Bibles used to be rare and expensive. Soon they will be cheap and everywhere. Okay. Erasmus. Erasmus is one person who really wanted to translate Bible from Latin to English, local language. Okay. Latin was, just like Sanskrit, language of elites. Only few people could speak Sanskrit. Similarly, only few people could speak and read in Latin. तो बेसिकली ये मेरा जो मेन आइडिया था बताना ये था कि आपको पता रहे what is Renaissance all about. He wanted vernacular forms of the Bible to make it more accessible to different people. Okay. Okay. Let us not go further into it. Petrarch. He is also very popular, just like William Shakespeare. He is one of the first ones to write a poem on a girl called Laura. So basically a poem for girl expressing love, human being expressing love for another human being. No more about God, all those things.
You mention of printing press, so there would be like more people who could access Bible, who could read that. So as they would be like more centric to the government.
No. In fact, now they would get to know what is actually God saying and what is not he being said by God. Like for example, there was one person, Martin Luther. Luther actually was one of the first one to tell to the masses in Germany, whatever this priestly class is saying is completely wrong. I have read the Bible myself. Nothing of this sort is there in the text. So don't get fooled by these priestly people. पहले क्या होता था? Can I say this sentence in Hindi, if you don't mind? क्या होता है? Sometimes you feel like speaking in Hindi. So there was a point of time, although I'll speak in English only. There was a point of time when if you really wanted to go to heaven, church used to give you ticket. They literally used to sell you tickets. Okay. Something that we today call as ticket to heaven. Okay. So they literally used to sell tickets to heaven. And who can buy those tickets? Whosoever is wealthy person who can afford. Only few people can go to heaven. And this ticket is very expensive. Okay. And if you, the farmers, the poor farmers, do not pay us taxes on time, you are not going to go to heaven. Trust me. This is what the priestly class told the farmers, the poor farmers. One day Martin Luther read the Bible. He said nothing of this sort is written in the Bible. You are fooling the farmers, looting their money in the name of sending them to heaven. This is how reform came. So this is the advantage of, spread. William Shakespeare. Inspired by Greek drama, comedies and tragedies. Okay, so Greek and Roman literature is also about human. Very critical of royalty and use analogies to show antiquated views of Middle Ages. चलो अब इस पे ज़्यादा नहीं बकवास करेंगे, बहुत हुआ है इसका, ठीक है? I hope you got the theme. Now this is very important. Before moving on to explain you this, let me come to the next part of our lecture. To sum it all up in 3 sentences, not just 3 sentences, I would sum it up in 3 words. Whatever I just explained to you, I'll sum it up in 3 words. So you don't need to write all the things. Please remember, no need to write everything. I will tell you what should be written, what is going to help you in exam. The rest, everything is story, which is required for you to make proper understanding. Okay. So what do we have to write in our notes now? Contribution of Renaissance. Simple सी बात, मुद्दे की बात. what was the contribution of Renaissance? First, humanism. Okay, center, focus on human. Second, secularism. Agreed? Fine. Third, individualism. How is humanism different from individualism? Are these two not synonymous? Almost, but not completely. Individualism means, see, humanism means focus on human, their problems, their happiness, their everyday life, their music. Okay. Individualism means focus on individual rights. Right to free speech. Individual rights. Equality. Something like this. This is individualism. Okay. So these three are the contribution of Renaissance. Yes, all the three are ideologies. Anything that has ism is an ideology. Okay, simple सी बात है. Humanism, secularism, individualism. Renaissance is over. Okay. Just one, huh? Nothing. See, humanism is about focusing on humans' everyday life. In their painting, you see more and more theme based on sadness, romance, love. It's about human basically. Okay. Play, movies, literature, everything is about human. No more about religion or God or divinity. Okay. And individualism is about individual rights. That we have right for this, we want this. Okay. Which is going further into, human agency. Started with this, going further into human individualism. Okay. Okay. So basically, the fundamental rights that we often read in Lakshmikant have their roots in Renaissance. ये सिंपल सी बात थी जो मुझे बतानी थी. ओके. अच्छा. There is a word called as humanities. In class 10th, we come to know about this word for the first time when we have to choose the biggest decision in our life. कि भैया जिंदगी में करना क्या है, मेडिकल नॉन मेडिकल. लाइफ इज सो सिंपल, मेडिकल एंड नॉन मेडिकल. ओके. एंड वेयर इज ह्यूमैनिटी? रेस्ट इज ह्यूमैनिटीज. Okay, sociology, psychology, something like this, literature, history, geography, civics, environment, political science, जो भी गंदा सा लगता है सब humanities में हम उसको डाल देते हैं. Okay, but the question is, why do we call it humanities? All these subjects, psychology, anthropology, sociology, political science are dealing with humans. Political science is dealing with political structure, state, authority, governance, judiciary, laws made by human, for the human, of the human, democracy. This is what political science is all about, right? Psychology is about nervous system. Nervous system. उसको study करना. There is one psychologist, Freud, who would talk about id, ego, super ego. उसके ऊपर हम बाद में चलेंगे. But they are focusing more on individual psyche, individuals' political thinking, philosophy. A philosopher is posing multiple questions before us. why do we exist in this world? Why do we exist? God exists, we know. Why do we exist? The question is about us. So that is why, since all these subjects are focusing on individuals, our everyday life, that is why they are clubbed together and called as humanities. The word humanity is coming from humanism. Okay, everything fine? Okay, now let us start the next topic. As I told you that in Unit 1 Part A, we will be dealing with modernity and social changes in Europe. In social changes in Europe, we have already covered one topic. Renaissance. Now comes next topic. Scientific revolution. You might have heard this. Scientific revolution. Scientific revolution is also called as scientific renaissance, by the way. Remember this. It is also called as scientific renaissance. Okay. Once you have understood these two topics, learning enlightenment is cakewalk. Okay, which is the next topic. Now, what is scientific revolution? In Renaissance, we focused on everything. Law, painting, music, drama, literature. Now, the focus would be more and more on working of universe. इतना ही difference है, चीज वही है. Focus is changing. Okay. Earlier, what used to happen? Let us see the same. I'll make same table so that it becomes easy for you to make a comparison and draw out conclusion on your own. What might have changed? Scientific revolution. So, before scientific revolution, which means the same medieval era, what used to happen? We had a theory called as geocentric model of universe. Geocentric model means Earth is at the center of universe. Okay, universe के बीच में Earth है. This is Earth. This is geocentric. Geo means Earth. Okay, geoid we call it. Geocentric. And who proposed this theory? Church. Because they were the only people who were explaining science also. They were scientists also. Scientists of their own type. ठीक है, वो भी साइंस है. देखो भले ही, you need to understand one thing. Although they were wrong, but think of it like this. They were literally one of the first ones to have talked about some planets revolving around some other planet, something of this sort that we today take for granted. Although what scientists actually did, they simply just transformed this. They did not reject it completely, they just transformed. Okay, so church was the first one to establish this discourse of knowledge, that there is a planet which would be at the center, some other would be revolving, although they were very wrong when they said Earth is at the center, but they are very much close to what reality is. Okay, this geocentric model of universe was given by church. इनकी खुद की साइंस के बेसिस पे था. बट साइंटिफिक रेवोल्यूशन में क्या हुआ? व्हाट हैपेंड विद साइंटिफिक रेवोल्यूशन? दिस मॉडल वाज रिजेक्टेड, replaced by heliocentric model. Who gave heliocentric model? Let me first explain the meaning of heliocentric. Helio means sun. Okay. Centric means sun is at the center. Okay. Sun is at the center. This is given by Copernicus. Copernicus. A man challenging church. This is very important. You know, in all the previous things that we discussed, literature depicting man, music about man, drama about man, when everything we are now seeing about man, where is God? Church is questioning people. क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? What are you doing? You are committing sin. Whenever there is change in society, some people would resist those changes. Every time when you see painting, music, literature about humans and no more about God, church would feel that they are losing their power over people. Copernicus also challenged. So church was like, am I just a bunch of idiot personalities that anybody can come in and slap us? Earlier Shakespeare talked about something. Erasmus came, Luther came, you are now coming. What is wrong with you guys? Why nobody is listening to us? This is what church was. The main question of church had. Okay. So the next thing that happened was, in terms of working of universe, second question was what kind of orbits we would have. If there is Earth at the center, what kind of orbits we have? And what is keeping Earth at the center? Why it is not moving? People used to ask church, and church used to, the priestly class used to do this impression management. Okay, let us figure this out once we have read Bible. Come tomorrow. Okay, so they would read Bible and they would then wait for the man to come again tomorrow, and then they would tell the answer. You asked one question yesterday, right? So we have found out the answer. So the answer is that what keeps Earth at the center is what keeps Earth at the center? What was the explanation given? God is there, definitely. God is keeping Earth at the center. That is definitely there. But what exactly? Gravity though is not something, they would talk about. Some spiritual power they used to believe. Okay, spiritual power. And they believe that you can also, our destination is also the center of universe. Okay. So if you keep giving us certain money after every month, we will ensure that you are always at the center of universe. Otherwise, you will be thrown out of the universe. Those spirits will never like it. Okay. Something of this sort. So, it was very easy to fool people because we had no social media in those days. Okay. So, second thing that they discussed was that orbits were circular in nature. Circular orbits. This thing was also challenged. No circular orbits. We have elliptical orbits. Who challenged? Kepler. Johannes Kepler. So ultimately, what are we witnessing? We are witnessing church as an authority being questioned by people, common people. In every domain, they are being questioned. Acha, the fact is, How did Copernicus and Kepler get to know that church is wrong and we are right? What actually went into the making of the formulas or representation that they came up with? Church was wrong, okay. How are you right? Why should we believe Kepler and Copernicus? क्या पता they become new priestly class? Okay, why should we believe them? Because whatever they said, it had some logic. Some calculations have gone into the making of those formula and laws. They used to call it empiricism. Another word. Empiricism means whatever is expressed in form of calculation is based on complete calculation, experimentation, logic, rationality, all those things. Okay, empiricism. And empiricism here implies one more thing. See, suppose, just to give you one simple example, when I say empirically valid statement, it means this statement has been cross-checked. Either I traveled myself to Mars and told people, yes, Mars exists. Okay. Or I smelled something Martian and said, yeah, Mars exists. Okay. So smell, touch, hearing, or something like this, all these sensors. When we can sense something through our sensory organs, that means it is empirical investigation. And who did empirical investigation of universe? Name one person. Galileo Galilei. Nobody was really believing Copernicus and Kepler. Do you know this? Galileo Galilei once invented telescope. And he said, अरे all these people are completely correct. जो भी ये बोल रहे हैं सच है. Sun is at the universe, center of universe, not Earth. You are very right, Mr. Copernicus. This is what Galileo Galilei is saying after inventing telescope. So, inventing telescope means seeing everything all by yourself. अब वो कैसे उसको पता चला टेलीस्कोप से कि सेंटर पे उस पर नहीं जाएंगे, वो हमारे काम का भी नहीं है. ठीक है. It was based on empiricism. ये मेन आइडिया है. So, Galileo Galilei telescope. And when Galileo Galilei said these two people are completely correct, Galileo Galilei was called as heretic. Heretic means someone who is questioning church. He was excluded. Church came up with declaration, nobody should talk to this man. If we find anyone talking to this man, you will be put in jail or you will be executed in guillotine. मार दिया जाएगा आपको अगर किसी ने इस आदमी से बात करी. ये होता था पहले. हैं? नहीं मारते ना, फिर वो कोई रेवोल्यूशन हो जाता है. हाँ वो तो है. वही तो मैंने कहा, जब आप क्वेश्चन करोगे अथॉरिटी को तो फिर आपके साथ कुछ ना कुछ होएगा ही. ठीक है, वो तो आज तक भी होता है. ठीक है, गायब हो जाते हैं लोग, पता ही नहीं चलता मरे भी हैं कि नहीं. सो ये बेसिकली ये बात है कि जब आप व्हेन यू रेजिस्ट, फर्स्ट यू अटैक द सिस्टम, system starts changing. People who are in the system, they try to get back to the same system. They resist the changes. This is a kind of conflict that goes on for centuries together. And due to this conflict only, the idea of democracy has come in. But अभी उस पर नहीं जाएंगे. हमने मुद्दे की बात क्या समझी, पहले हम उस पर आ जाते हैं. Okay. Let us understand the contribution of scientific renaissance. Three, four words. That's it. Rest everything is given in the notes. You don't even need to read these things in detail, but you just need to know about them. Okay. First contribution explained the working of universe through scientific laws, not religious laws, scientific laws. Okay, this is the first contribution. Second, it gave birth to the idea of, very important keywords, reason, logic, empiricism, etc. What is the meaning of reason? Reason does not mean the same reason. What are the reasons behind it? Although it is very similar. Intent.
You want to find the answer.
Yes, yes. Quest for knowledge, basically. Quest. Okay. What is the reason behind this? अरे होगा कुछ भी reason यार, अपना पढ़ाई करो. ठीक है. अरे नहीं यार, but I need to know. So a man wants to know the reason. Okay. Inquisitive man. If we did not have inquisitive people in this world who wanted to know the answer to few questions, we would not have had so many discoveries, inventions, or revolutions. Okay. It was only because of some inquisitive people, personalities, that we saw the change in this world. Reason, what is the reason behind this? Okay. Logic kya hoga? What is the logic behind this? This is how we speak, okay. And this is how change comes in. Empiricism. Whatever logic or reason is there, it should be based on empirical investigation. It should be tested. Okay. So empiricism means test the knowledge. Or observation through our senses. Test the knowledge or observation through our senses. Right? So far, we have read about 3 scholars from scientific revolution. I will tell you about 2 more, just 2 more. Okay. Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes is very popular personality. And he believed, he also belongs to the same era, scientific revolution era. Okay. After going through all the observations made by Kepler, Galileo Galilei, Copernicus, Descartes came up with one statement. He said, one thing which cannot be doubted is the doubt itself. That means there is no doubt that we have doubt. We are thinking beings, basically. We have doubts. We are not just passive recipient of knowledge that you will tell us anything and we will readily accept it and move on in our lives. We will question you if we do not understand something. One thing that cannot be doubted is the doubt itself. Human beings always keep asking questions. Okay. This is the basic nature of human. Okay. So what is he focusing on? he is focusing on thinking being. Okay, he is focusing on thinking being, and he once made a statement: I think, therefore I exist. I think, therefore I exist. Why did he make this statement? Because again, he wanted to show the individual existence. We are thinking being. We cannot readily accept, and it is very much clear with the discoveries and challenges posed by Galileo Galilei, Copernicus. They were thinking beings. They questioned church. And this is the basic nature of human. Okay, this is what the main idea of Descartes was. And other than Descartes, Francis Bacon was also there, but those are the things that you can easily read from the notes now that you know the essence. Okay, so I don't want to delve into those details. ठीक है, ये तो आपके बेसिक बिगिनिंग में जो आपको मुझे लगता है बेयर मिनिमम यू शुड नो about the origin of this discipline is something that I've already explained. So we have done two things now: scientific renaissance, that means scientific revolution, and renaissance per se, दोनों हो गए हैं. Okay. Now comes the next topic, which is the most important topic: enlightenment. Enlightenment also had its beginning in Renaissance only. Both the things are coming from Renaissance. अब मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा. Okay, just give me answer to this question. If you give me correct answer to this question, na, trust me, all of you are clearing the exam. Trust me, हो जाएगा क्लियर. बस सही दे देना मेरे को यार, बेइज्जत मत कराना, ठीक है. Renaissance was about literature, music, drama, right? Painting, based on humans. यही था. साइंटिफिक रेवोल्यूशन वाज अबाउट वर्किंग ऑफ यूनिवर्स. ठीक है, what we call as science. Okay, generally I have not written science here. Okay, explained by working of universe, explained by human only. बेसिकली मैं ये डायग्राम से पूरा सम अप कर रहा हूं. few humans के मैंने नाम लिखे थे. One thing is left. जो मैंने, if you remember, the first time I talked about Renaissance, I talked about many domains. All the domains have been covered. Only one domain is left. हाँ, हाँ, पॉलिटिक्स. पॉलिटिक्स का क्या हुआ? वो भी तो है मेन चीज. सिर्फ लोग पेंटिंग थोड़ा ना कर रहे थे. म्यूजिक आधे से ज्यादा टाइम सी टुडे आउट ऑफ 24 आवर्स 10 hours we are discussing मोदी जी, right? That means our interest is mainly in politics. चाय भी पीने जाते हैं ना, तो पहले इसी पे बात होती है कि क्या चल रहा है दुनिया में, रशिया और यूक्रेन में क्या होएगा, तुम्हें क्या लगता है? तो बेसिकली enlightenment, I would say, was about working of state. This was about working of universe. This was about working of state. Here humans are telling us how universes are working in reality. Here again humans will tell us how state should be working. क्या बात है, बात खत्म हो गई है, ठीक है, चैप्टर 1 इज ओवर, सोशियोलॉजी ओवर, ठीक है, यही है बस, खत्म, और कुछ है ही नहीं. वर्किंग ऑफ स्टेट, अगेन ह्यूमन विल एक्सप्लेन हाउ स्टेट शुड वर्क. And they are explaining this to church people, because earlier church used to explain how state should be. Acha, by the way, what was the meaning of state in those times? नहीं, state मतलब in the sense वैसे नहीं कह रहा हूं मैं. State literally meant monarchy. Kings and queens used to rule us. Okay. Today we have democracy. We still have monarchy in few places, but gradually world is, you will see a pattern that over last 300-400 years the world is getting democratized more and more. After Arab Spring, some few countries which were theocratic or monarchical, they also converted to democracy. Few are still left. Okay, after 300-400 years, you never know, they may also get democratized. Largely pattern is towards democratization of the world. Earlier Pakistan was also purely military dictatorship. Okay, gradually it started embracing the ideals of democracy. Till date it is not truly a democratic state, but it has started embracing the ideals of democracy. Anyhow, so humans will explain how state should work. That means they are again going to question church. I will ask you one question, you will tell me the answer, and the topic is over. Okay. Who used to decide this king will rule the France? Church or people? Church. Okay. Priestly class used to decide, ये रहा तुम लोग का king, ठीक है, ये रहेगा अब 10-15 जो जब इसका मन जब तक है, ठीक है, 10-15 साल तक. That is why we had King Louis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. वो एक ही आदमी की फैमिली चली जा रही है. Nobody questioned it. Because to question king would be to question God. ऐसा fear create किया हुआ था. Nobody dared to question the rule of monarch. But one day, after getting inspiration from Leonardo da Vinci, Galileo Galilei, शेक्सपियर और कौन से कोपरनिकस, केपलर, इतने बड़े बड़े लोगों ने जो क्वेश्चन किया चर्च को, इनसे ही इंस्पिरेशन लेके कुछ लोगों ने स्टेट के वर्किंग को लेकर क्वेश्चन कर दिया. सम पीपल टुक इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम दोज पीपल, the people from Renaissance and scientific revolution, and after being inspired from those people, they now questioned the last domain, that was the state, how state was operating. And who are now these people who are questioning the church in terms of, not in terms of music literature, but in terms of working of state? I'll talk about those people now. So the next is about enlightenment. some famous people from enlightenment era, if you have any idea about them, you can talk about them, otherwise मैं तो बताऊंगा ही. Nice. Montesquieu, Rousseau, John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, और कौन कौन आते हैं, मैरी वॉलस्टोनक्राफ्ट, एंड देयर आर मेनी अदर पीपल एज वेल बाय द वे, जिनकी बात मैं करूंगा, जैसे एडम स्मिथ is also, we talked about everything. Again, the same thing, music, literature, dance, all those things. We did not talk about politics, we did not talk about economy. Two things are left only, otherwise everything has been covered what is relevant to human. Okay, so let us first define enlightenment, then I talk about the basic contribution of enlightenment scholar. It can be defined as intellectual movement it can be defined as intellectual movement characterized by new mode of thought, new mode of thought, which questioned the traditional working of the state in bracket theological and monarchical system. In bracket you will write theological and monarchical system. Okay, bracket closed. You understand the meaning of theology? Theological. हाँ बिल्कुल 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 ठीक बात है, सिंपल सी बात में कही जाए, भगवान से रिलेटेड, सिंपल सी बात है, एनीथिंग रिलेटेड टू गॉड. थियोलॉजी मीन स्टडी ऑफ द Bible, study of Quran. We have academic disciplines also in form of theology. It is a subject also dealt in many universities. Not in India. India में एक दो जगह है जहाँ पे पढ़ाया जाता है ये सब, but ज़्यादा नहीं. Anyhow, next point which is very important is that Enlightenment scholars believed, underline this point, okay, they believe that just like universe was governed by, just like the universe was governed by some established laws, comma, so is society. Okay, what is the meaning of this line? Just like we have certain laws which explain the working of universe. For example, law given by Kepler, law of planetary motion. According to this law of planetary motion, there is certain type of orbit, certain type of speed by which planets would revolve, something like this, in elliptical fashion. So law is explaining the movement of orbit, movement of planets. There is law, there is logic basically. So just like we have logic in operation of universe, there is gravitational force, law of gravitation given by Newton. Okay, so why something is falling down is explained scientifically. ऐसे नहीं कि बस यार क्योंकि नीचे कोई हाथ रखने वाला नहीं इसलिए नीचे गिर रहा है वो, ऐसा नहीं. No, there is a force acting downwards, okay, pulling the object downwards. This force was also explained scientifically. Okay, it was not the will of God which is pulling something downwards. Law of motion, law of planetary motion, law of gravitation. The working of universe was explained in form of laws. Now the question is, who will explain the working of state in scientifically? That should also be based on some laws now. Otherwise, randomly, to it would be very difficult. And therefore, here we talk about working of the state. Based on logic, reason, or certain laws. One of the first men to have discussed about the working of state was Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes. He is one of the most important men from the Enlightenment era. What does Hobbes have to say? He says, that there is nothing called as divine agency. Clearly rejected the will of God. Church used to say king should be ruling and this is supported by will of God. Thomas Hobbes saying there is nothing like will of God. It is will of people. Will of people. Idea very close to democracy, which would translate into democracy in future. Okay. There is nothing like will of God. It is about will of people, whether people like this man or not. Okay. So basically he questioned theological arrangement of state. And he believed, he has written one book, Leviathan. In this book he is mentioning all these things. The first thing which is very important that is being mentioned by him is, why do we need someone to rule over us? It should be based on logic, right? Why do you think you need some people like Manmohan Singh ji, Modi ji? Why do you think? If I were to ask you, homogeneity. Homogeneity as in? Okay. What else? The king was also leading us to a certain direction. Sorry? Okay. I was coming to that only.
We cannot do everything at the same time. So there is someone who is like कोई ना कोई कुछ ना कुछ designation पे है just to make things accessible to everyone.
In every organization, basically, yeah, please.
Leader, the people are only decide here. King को तो decide नहीं कर सकते कि king को तो वहाँ by birth those families is going to people choose their
Yeah, but the question is, why do we need leaders at all?
Like normal maintain का political life.
But why?
we have to be flexible. That's why we like follow them. For example, digital ideology है, उसको मतलब आगे
But that is not the answer to this question. The question is, why do we need leaders?
Everyone is same, it will be a chaos.
Ah,
Everyone
yes.
is more fast.
Very nice. Very nice. If there is no leader, just think like this. Then it will be chaos. मैं किसी का मर्डर कर दूंगा, मेरे को कौन जेल में डालेगा? कोई लीडर ही नहीं है. There is no law. There is no state. There is no judiciary. You are free to kill anyone. You are free to loot anyone. Corruption is the normal thing. You don't even call it corruption. You call it everyday part of life, you know. So when there is no leader, there is no differentiation between right and wrong. There is no differentiation between moral, immoral. Everything is fine in the life. When you have leader, you have clear-cut demarcation between what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what is doable, what is not doable. And that is why we need leaders to guide us. Okay, all of us require leaders in our home, in our organization, in any department that we are working, because we need to know whether we are going in the right direction or not. Student need teacher for the same reason. Okay. Now Hobbes asked one question only. Only one question Hobbes posed. He said, people need leaders because I believe, Hobbes is saying, because I believe human beings are idiots. This is what he said. He said human beings are idiots. They don't have any logic of their own. They are crazy, chaotic, mindless. That is why I believe someone intelligent should be there. Otherwise, these people will create chaos in this world. Some wise man should be there. Who is the wise man? King. Okay. And now, what is happening? There is very basic difference in what Hobbes is saying and what Church was saying. Church used to say king will rule because he is destined to rule by God. Hobbes is saying king will rule, no issue, but he will rule because masses are idiots right now. There is no God. It's actually masses are not capable of leading their lives effectively. That is why we need some people to look up to. Okay, your point. It is not that God is sending this man to rule. So God wala question he cancelled. Okay. So what did Thomas Hobbes do? First thing, he questioned divine right to rule or divine theory of rule. Divine means Bhagwan ki wish hai ki king shall be ruling. Okay. Basically he questioned theocratic arrangement. Second point, he supported absolutism. Another word. Today I'll give you so many words. I have given you so many words, okay, that you can go back home and quickly revise so that you get some idea about the direction that we will go. He supported absolutism. What is absolutism? That there should be one absolute man who would be ruling. He is completely fine with this idea. इसमें उसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है कि एक आदमी हमें रूल कर रहा है. One man is ruling, absolutism. The only thing that he did not find comfortable was the reason behind that one man ruling us. Church used to say he should be ruling because God has given this order. He is saying no, he should be ruling because human beings are idiots. Focusing again on ह्यूमंस। इतना बारीक डिफरेंस है ये, समझना जरूरी है ये। ओके, सपोर्टेड एब्सोल्यूटिज्म। नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, नाउ ही विल गिव लॉजिक, Hobbes will give logic and reason behind absolutism. Why we should be ruled by one person? What is the logic? Logic is that human beings are selfish, greedy, and idiots. ये उसकी लाइन है खुद की। Human beings are selfish, greedy, and idiots. And therefore, someone should be there to ensure that these people do not kill themselves in the fight, which may happen anytime between these idiots. Someone should be guardian of these idiots. Okay. So this was the idea of Thomas Hobbes. Now, second man comes into the picture. Now, a discourse has begun on, working of the state, how state should be, what kind of man should be leading. So, a man comes called as John Locke. John Locke. John Locke is saying, Mr. Hobbes, you are completely wrong. Hobbes said men are idiot, selfish, greedy. Locke said no. Men are completely fine. They are highly intelligent, highly inquisitive, very clever, full of wisdom. These are the quality of human beings. You can't simply degrade them and call them corrupt, selfish, idiot, greedy. Who are you to call human beings like this? This is what Locke is saying. Okay. So first thing that is being said by Locke is that human beings are intelligent, wise, moral, etc. Since they are wise, moral, intelligent, everything is good with human beings. Therefore, every human being has natural right to property, natural right to life. Since all of us are intelligent, wise, therefore all of us our properties or life should be saved and protected by someone. Since we are very, unique beings found nowhere in the universe. Therefore, human beings have natural right to life and property. Life, liberty and property, ऐसे लिखना. Okay, life, liberty and property. Third point by John Locke only. Let me write B here. Okay, that was A, so that there is no confusion between so many 1, 2, 3s. Okay. Third point. Question is, who will protect the natural right of property, life and liberty of human beings? Who will protect these natural rights of human beings? King. Okay, so why king should rule the people? हाँ, फिर से बोलो. हाँ हाँ, नहीं, बट किंग को क्यों रूल करना चाहिए लोगों को? हाँ बिल्कुल, इंटेलिजेंट है तो वो खुद भी रूल कर सकते हैं,
और
किंग को क्यों रूल करना चाहिए? इंटेलिजेंट है वो, बात सही है। हाँ, बिकॉज
Sir, because everybody is intelligent, then they give chaos.
हाँ बिल्कुल सही कहा, जब सभी इंटेलिजेंट हो जाते हैं ना तो कोई बिल एक्ट नहीं बनता, वो बिल ही रह जाता है, वो पार्लियामेंट डिसॉल्व हो जाती है, अगले सेशन में फिर आएगा और वो बिल बिल ही रह जाएगा। सब बोलते हैं अरे ये इसमें इशू है, ये इसमें issue, अरे हमसे पूछा होता पहले। सभी इंटेलिजेंट बन जाते हैं ना जब, तो फिर बात आगे बढ़ती नहीं कभी। इसलिए भी ना, अब क्या है, ओके अग्रीड, एवरीवन इज इंटेलिजेंट, वाइज, मॉरल। सिंस दे आर वाइज, मॉरल, इंटेलिजेंट, they have natural right to life, property, liberty, and therefore since they are VIPs, basically very important persons, since all of them are intelligent, these VIPs should be protected by one man. Okay, that man would be king. So he is also supporting monarchy, but the reason behind supporting monarchy is different. Understanding my point or not? Thomas Hobbes supported monarchy. He supported monarchy, right? This man is also supporting monarchy. Reasons given by both of them are different. Okay. Now I'll make your life very easy. इसके बाद ठीक है, अभी थोड़ा confusion भी जरूरी होता है कभी कभी लाइफ में. Since they have property, liberty and life, it should be protected by someone. It should be protected by someone. Fourth point is the most important point in this whole life. Okay. In most important point in the whole world. Fourth point. If king does not protect the property, liberty or rights of the people, yes, कचड़े में डाल दो उसको फिर, then he should be thrown out completely. Then people can rule themselves. वो तो छोड़ दो अभी, उसने जो बोल दिया वहां तक चल लेते हैं अभी. Basically, he supported monarchy conditionally. If monarch does not protect the rights of people, then welcome to democracy. So he's supporter of democracy also, he's supporter of monarchy also, but he's conditionally supporting monarchy. Understanding my point? Okay. So these are minute details of Locke and Hobbes, and one thing which is common to both of them is a concept. One thing which is common to both of them is one concept. The concept is social contract. Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, all three have given the theory of social contract. All three have given the theory of social contract. Okay. Fine till here. Now what is social contract? Social contract simply means something close to it. Social contract simply means contract between the people that king shall be ruling us. Simple. Contract between the people, king shall be ruling us. Okay. Locke is also speaking something on social contract. Contract between people that some of us will give certain rights which belong to us we will give some of those rights to king. King in return will protect us. हम सब लोग क्या करते हैं? What do we do all the time? See, by electing Modi ji to power, what did we do? For 5 years, we have given him full freedom to come up with any law that he likes. Right? And in return, what will he do for us? He will protect us from any foreign attack, from any internal attack. Right? This is a contract. Right? It is a contract. You will develop laws for us. Okay, for 5 years. And in return, we will keep supporting you. Contract. So this is a social contract. वो छोड़ो यार, वो लीगल में क्यों जाना? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एग्रीमेंट में क्या होता है? वो तो ये तो लीगल लैंग्वेज होती है जिसकी तुम बात कर रहे हो, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एग्रीमेंट. कंपनी लॉज होते हैं ना, कंपनी लॉज जो सीएस की तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं, सीए वाले, ये वो पूछते हैं. तो उस पर हमें थोड़ा जाना यार, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एग्रीमेंट में क्या फर्क है. सही कह रहा हूँ ना मैं? यू आर फ्रॉम कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड है ना, पता होगा आपको. तो ये तो हो गया, चलो इनकी बात खत्म हो गई है, बहुत हुआ इनका. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट मिस्टर रूसो. Third person from Enlightenment. Rousseau. He says the best form of governance should be based on general will. That's it. See, all the people are talking about how state should be ruling. Based on reason, logic, conversation, dialogue. आपस में चाय, just think like this, that all of them are sitting in a chai corner. And sitting, what kind of governance do you think? You know, the same thing happens in modern day cafeterias also. There is one coffee shop. I don't know how many of you have ever been to that coffee shop, Indian Coffee House. Have you guys been to Indian Coffee House? नहीं? सीपी में भी है, चंडीगढ़ में भी है, मतलब काफी जगह है, साउथ इंडिया का है mainly वो. Actually, the conversation between people over the kind of governance that we should have started in French salons. Okay, वहां पे लोग चर्चा करते थे, चाय पे चर्चा जिसको आज हम बोलते हैं, तो वही है बेसिकली. तो कॉन्वर्सेशन में ये लोग आपस में दोस्त बन गए थे. रूसो एक जगह, एक 2-3 टेबल छोड़ के बैठे हुए थे लोग. मैं बोला मैं भी बोलूं इस पे कुछ, तुम बोला तुम भी बोल दो. तो रूसो आया बोलने, बोल रहा है देखो भाई, मेरा तो ये मानना है, तुम्हारी बकवास जो भी है, द बेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नेंस is based on general will. General will means will in general of the masses. Whatever masses believe, that is the voice of God. Whatever masses would say is the final word. No king. There is no space for king. If masses say we don't want king, that is the final word. Don't wait for king. Don't wait for that moment when king is not able to protect the property, life, etc. If people are saying no, we don't want him at all, just agree with them and move on in their lives. French Revolution, which happened, was the consequence of these people only. The kind of things that they were discussing. French Revolution happened only because of that. I'll explain you what is French Revolution gradually. इसके बाद the next topic is that only. But today we'll wrap up with enlightenment क्योंकि आजकल ही बहुत हो जाएगा. So Rousseau was about general will. General will simply means democracy or will of majority. Will of majority. So we have had 3 people discussing on the form of governance. What kind of governance we should have? क्या लगता है तुम्हें? What do you think? Something like this. Okay. So people got bored of discussion on governance one day. fourth man suddenly came to Ceylon one day. His name was Adam Smith. Adam Smith said, "Yeah, you guys are very boring. Continuously, you guys are talking about governance. Who will talk about economy?" Okay. Then three people, they had no idea about economy. They asked Adam Smith, "Please enlighten us on economy." Adam Smith said, "See, what should be the best form of economy?" Have you guys wondered about this question? So the best form of economy is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire means free market economy. Okay. Best form of economy should be or can be is laissez-faire. laissez-faire का लिटरल मीनिंग क्या होता है? लेट इट बी फ्री. छोड़ दो उसको जैसा है वो लाइफ में. अपने आप सीखेगा, अपने आप मरेगा, अपने आप गिरेगा, अपने आप उठेगा. ओके, लेट इट बी फ्री. सो बेसिकली लेट इकोनॉमी बी फ्री. फ्री फ्रॉम व्हाट? State. Free from state. Okay. There was a point of time when state was controlling economy. Okay. Before 90s in India also we had almost this kind of scenario that state was controlling economy. Okay. There was no privatization as such. थोड़े बहुत होते थे, टाटा बिरला टाइप के लोग, कोका कोला, पेप्सी, ये सब कहाँ थे उसमें? ठीक है. पार्ले था थोड़ा बहुत छोटा, इतने प्लेयर्स नहीं होते थे, प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स. सो मार्केट वाज नॉट फ्री. टुडे market is completely free. Market is completely free. What is the meaning of this line? That means today a furniture company from South Korea can also come to India, establish its single brand retail store or multi brand retail wala concept and sell the furniture goods to the masses. If they like IKEA, IKEA is one of the company from South Korea, okay, selling furniture. If people can or if people want to buy Apple headphones, which is completely waste of money, still if they want to buy, they can buy. We are ready to come. So government is not going to, not allow them to come. Government will say, please come. Free market. Today you would see most of the FDI, foreign direct investment, has switched to automatic route. ये आपने पढ़ा होगा. You might have read a lot about these things that 100% FDI automatic route. नहीं पढ़ा? Automatic route क्या होता है? You no longer require approval from any government body. बस पैसा दे दो और आ जाओ. हम नहीं पूछ रहे कहाँ जाना है, आ जाओ, पैसा चाहिए हमको बस. Okay. This is laissez-faire. Let it be free. Free economy. Laissez-faire economy. Free market economy. He said if we have free market economy, then we will produce in masses. Mass production of goods will be possible. Otherwise, before free market economy, state used to impose quota on production, that you can produce only 1 kilo of this much, 2 kilo of this much. But now we can produce as much as we want. And with mass production of goods, what will happen? The prices will come down. When prices will come down, it will be accessible to everyone. When the few things which were accessible to only few people are now accessible to everyone, that means society is getting democratized. Simple सी बात है. So he said, to have good form of governance, we need to have good form of economy also. And you three idiots, Rousseau, Hobbes and Locke, were missing out of this on this important discussion. Okay, economy. Okay. Now, Rousseau asked one question to Adam Smith. Rousseau asked one question to Adam Smith. Okay, okay, let the economy be free. Are you sponsored by Ambani's or Tata's? Why are you so hell-bent on insisting that market should be free, 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 free? Something must be wrong with this man. Don't you think so, Mr. Locke and Hobbes? But this is Rousseau asking to Locke and Hobbes about this man, Smith. Smith saying, yeah, please don't call me sponsor of some company, okay? See, the idea is very simple, you three idiots. The idea is very simple, that there is a thing called as invisible hand. What is invisible hand? बताता हूँ. Invisible hand का मतलब क्या होता है? Suppose we opened Level Up IAS, okay, new coaching institution. The moment we opened new coaching institution, how many people got employment? Approximately 50 to 100. 50 to 100 people got employment. 1000 to 2000 students got admission. Few faculties also got recruitment. That means everyone benefited. This is invisible hand. अच्छा, why did we open Level Up? For profit. Simple सी बात है भाई. Any private venture is open for profit. इसमें कोई झूठ बोलने की तो बात है नहीं. Every private enterprise is open for profit, but unintentionally it is benefiting everyone. It was opened for my interest, my private interest, but it is benefiting everyone at the end of the day. Students, teachers, and other chai wala niche. We have chai wala also niche. So once you go out of the class, some of the students may even drink his chai. So he may even buy 4 BHK one day, and may even become next PM. So Level Up is helping chai wala to become next PM, something like this. Think like this. So it is invisible hand. Nobody did it intentionally. It is happening automatically. So Adam Smith is telling those three people, did you ever think like this? Those three people, no, yaar, we did not really think. Adam Smith said, isliye Adam Smith said ki, so please let these matters be dealt by me. Okay, don't intervene when I'm talking about economy. You guys don't know anything about it. So this was about Adam Smith. So he gave two concepts, invisible hand and laissez-faire. I hope that is clear to you. Okay. After these four people, one lady comes. Last person. Okay. She also belongs to the same era, Enlightenment era. Mary Wollstonecraft. स्पेलिंग शायद ठीक है कि गलत है. लेट मी चेक. मैरी वॉलस्टोनक्राफ्ट गलत हो गई. ई आएगा. वॉलस्टोनक्राफ्ट, WOLL. Yes. So, what is this lady doing?
Everyone is talking about this.
She said that all you four guys are talking about best form of governance, best form of economy. You are talking about best form of governance because you feel that you have been ruled obnoxiously, or you are oppressed by kings, something like this. Okay, and you want to free the masses, something like this. Okay, but you're talking about king oppressing masses, you never talked about how men oppress women. Why are you considering masses as homogeneous as if they are men only? What about we, the women, who are also 50% in population? But our voices are not being represented by you four people. None of you talked about gender rights, equality. You talked about laissez-faire, democracy. बड़ी बड़ी बातें आप कर रहे हो. आप जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात ही नहीं कर रहे हो. डेमोक्रेसी किस बात की? Very important point she made. So write down in her book. In her book, Vindication of the Rights of Women. Vindication of the Rights of Women. She demanded equal rights for women. She demanded equal rights for women. And she believed that unless women enter into the male dominated fields, unless or until women enter into the male dominated fields, there can be no social change. And monarchy would be replaced by patriarchy. कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट बात बोली उसने. And monarchy would be replaced by patriarchy. What we think is actually democracy is nothing but patriarchy, according to Mary Wollstonecraft. So you're not comfortable with king, but you're comfortable with men ruling. That means in your discussion, women are absent. They are not represented, their concerns are not raised. And they never thought it like this. Yes, very nice point you are making. So basically, Enlightenment scholars are known for the ideas that today we take for granted. Liberalization, privatization, democratization, equality. You know, these things that we take for granted, and every day we have discussion on these things in Hindu, Indian Express. Columnists fight with each other. They reply to the last columnist 1 year after the news. Okay, so this keep on happening. This dialogue, this dialectic keep on happening. The end result is benefit of the masses. What is good for the masses should be done. Whether some law need to be introduced, whether some thing have to be changed, judicial reform, all those things should be done. So these things that we take for granted has their root in Enlightenment. It started with God for humans. Now we have come to the point where we talk about human for human, by human, of human. This was all about these three important events. Now the next event will be discussed tomorrow. The name of the event would be French Revolution. What was the consequence of these three events altogether? Okay. Tomorrow what is the agenda? First we will discuss French Revolution. Second we will discuss Industrial Revolution. खत्म जो सरदर्द होता है ना वो खत्म हो जाएगा. With the discussion of these two events, the world historical part would be over. Sociology in the true sense would be unleashed right after these two events. Okay, because we are mainly concerned with the origin of sociology, na? And to explain you the origin of sociology, it was important for me to explain you the social changes in Europe. The first change was Renaissance, second was scientific Renaissance or revolution, third was Enlightenment, fourth would be French Revolution, fifth would be Industrial Revolution, and one more Counter-Enlightenment, sixth. Total 6 events. And then comes sociology, which is very simple. Once you have gone through the 6 now, तो कुछ भी है नहीं. If you have any question from today's class, you can ask me. Any sort of question.
डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में
डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में कुछ क्या?
हम कोई हुआ है सिर्फ फंडामेंटल पॉइंट हुआ फिर पहले
ये जो वर्ड है ना, ग्रीक लिटरेचर से आता है. डेमोन्स का मतलब होता है लोग, क्रेसी मतलब रूल, ये वहां से आता है. क्रेसी जो होता है ना, ये जो वर्ड्स हैं सब ग्रीस से आए हैं. तो रूट वर्ड पे तो मत ही जाओ, एटिमोलॉजी हमने क्या करना है. एथेनियन डेमोक्रेसी को सबसे पहला बोला, जैसे पंचायत सिस्टम होता है ना हमारे विलेज में. इन एवरी विलेज वी हैव पंचायत at local level, small scale. It is small scale parliament without any building. Okay, so same thing we had in Roman times and Athenian times. Okay, that we call as democracy. So we owe a lot to European culture for giving us democracy, when in reality we also had our own democracy, but this is not how in academics we deal with it. We simply say thanks to Europe for giving us democracy, equality. Okay, so this is how we read in academics. Academics is dominated by European ideas, and we have to accept it in our lives if we have to, do something. So if you have any question from today's class, you can ask me. हाँ, please. हाँ,
scientific revolution,
right.
enlightenment, French revolution.
नहीं उस पर मत जाओ. For the first 3 you are completely fine. Rest 3 we will discuss tomorrow. Then we will discuss the chronology. But chronology of these 3 is completely fine. Renaissance first, then scientific Renaissance, then Enlightenment.
Social contract is between people or between people.
It is between people. See, social contract has multiple meanings. One social contract theory is given by Hobbes. Second social contract is given by Locke. Both their contract theory is different, bit different. Hobbes, when he talks about social contract, he says agreement between people. When Locke talk about social contract, he says agreement between people and the state. But end is almost similar. When Hobbes talks about agreement between people, agreement is about who would be ruling us, state. When Locke talk about agreement between people and state, it's about how state would be ruling us. So end goal is almost same. Okay. Printing press. Okay, although it never went to masses. I mean, till date, if I were to talk about Hindu newspaper na, or even Indian Express, even they do not reach the masses. They remain confined to few people who can afford those newspapers every day. So masses is, when we talk about masses, if we have this idea of masses in our head, people who are completely deprived, located in the hinterlands, to be very honest, even Man Ki Baat is not reaching them, which is done through radio. Okay. So those kind of masses, however, we can definitely say one thing, that in the last 75 years, definitely in the process of democratization, we have made ourselves more and more accessible, especially with the advent of social media. Now everything, or most of the people are getting opportunity to take part in the political or economic process through social media also. So yes, we can say that those masses are getting low in numbers now. They are getting into mainstream. Inclusive governance is also coming up. Financial inclusion is also coming up. But yes, The thing largely reached the masses through printing press, radio, social media. These are the devices. WhatsApp, Telegram. Okay. Any questions? Yes. सब साथ साथ हो रहा था. ठीक है, बाकी उसमें नहीं जाएंगे कि कौन सी गली में शुरू हुआ पहले. ठीक है, वो सब हमारे काम कभी नहीं. सब साथ साथ चल रहा है. ये सब यूरोप में ही हो रहा है. इटली से शुरू होता है रेनेसांस, फिर फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन तक आते थे, फ्रांस. रेफॉर्मेशन का एक पीरियड है जिसके बारे में फिर कभी बात. व्हेन आई विल टॉक अबाउट मैक्स वेबर, हु इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्कॉलर इन योर सोशियोलॉजिकल थिंकर का जो यूनिट है. देन आई विल टॉक अबाउट मार्टिन लूथर, जॉन कैल्विन, who are responsible for reformation, something that you can easily ignore right now. Okay, reformation is reform within Christianity or Catholic Church. You know, when, just think like this, when for a very long time people were abusing church and the priestly class, that for thousands of years you have been fooling us, you've been telling us this is how the world operates. You've been telling us that you can sell us the ticket and we can reach heaven. You've been fooling us all the time in the name of God. When people question church like this, what was the reaction of church? First, it called all of them heretic. How dare you question us? But second time, they had to set in certain reforms. Remember when Brahmanism, Hinduism was questioned by Lord Buddha? Brahmanism also had to reform itself. Ultimately, what happened? Buddhism also survived. Hinduism also survived. That's a different thing, that Buddhism is no longer there in India. The land where Buddhism originated, आज उसी लैंड में बुद्धिज्म है नहीं. अब साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में दिखता है हम, लेकिन सर्वाइव तो कर रहे हैं ना. इंडिया में भली नहीं सर्वाइव कर रहा हो, लेकिन कर तो रहा है. सो द रिफॉर्म विच वी सॉ इन हिंदुइज्म एंड द रिफॉर्म दैट वी सॉ इन कैथोलिसिज्म आर ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द सेम लाइन्स. एंड दैट रिफॉर्म पीरियड in Christianity is called as Reformation, Protestant Reformation. The people who protested against the Catholics, they are called as Protestants. They are also Christian, but it's like Mahayans are also Buddhists, but they are not Hinians. So Protestants are also Christians, but they are not Catholics. Okay, in सब चीजों में we will discuss about these things later on. For the timing, you just need to know about these three things, this much. Okay, so see you in tomorrow's class. Okay, thank you. कल से handouts you will get from tomorrow. Okay. ऑनलाइन वाले लोग का तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं, मैंने मिस कर दिया. लेट मी चेक. Kaushika. Sorry, Kaushika, I missed your questions. I did not really realize that you were also there. Tomorrow onwards, I'll definitely make sure that I am paying equal attention to online students and not discriminating against them. Okay, I'm really sorry for today. Hardik Saxena, sir, if you can take session English. Okay. इंग्लिश तो रहती है हार्दिक, बीच बीच में हिंदी बोल देता हूँ ना, वो इंग्लिश हो ही जाता है. So I'll see you guys, online students, tomorrow. Okay, चलो, bye bye.